Okay, so let's get started with our day one planned activities. So welcome everyone for the Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services training. And, we'll start with our session today with the planned topics for day one. So let me start sharing my screen. Okay, so the topics that we are going to discuss today is setting up a free trial account, and setting up the runtime environment to have our setup done, for the Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services. So what we need to do is, I would expect all of you to do this parallelly while I'm doing it. You're able to see my screen, right? All of you?
Yes.
Okay. So just go to Google and type, Informatica Cloud Data Integration Free Trial. Just type this and, go to free 30-day trial. And once you get to this window, you need to provide your first name, last name. So just provide visual. For example, this is my first name. I have to select a user role here. Let's say I select as an administrator and my phone number, some random phone number. And select your data center location as North America. And just select these two options where you're reading the terms and conditions and click on. So you need to provide a username. If you're providing your work email as your Gmail ID, you can use the same email address as your username, or if you have already registered your username for a different account, or if you want to give any specific ID. For example, I want to use IICS uh, Visual as my username. For example, this is my username that I would like to use. I just select that username and I just need to click on start your free trial. So what does it do is this is going to trigger a mail with my free trial account and you need to activate it. Okay, so let me check if I got a mail. Okay, so we get a mail saying, okay, welcome to the Informatica family. We are so glad. So you can verify it to activate your free trial account. So just make sure you copy this login name and the login URL. Just put it in a notepad and keep it, just save this, right? And okay, and just verify me now. Click on verify me now. And this is going to redirect you to create your new password. Provide a new password and provide a security question, right? And just click on submit. And you can change. You can save this password into your device actually. Uh, And this is going to give you a prompt again. You want to, you are interested in which type of source systems and target systems. You can select anything like all local CSV file or Oracle or SQL Server. Just click on continue and you get some sample use cases as templates where, it would show you how to perform these things. So that's fine. We can ignore this. And, you get a prompt with the services that are part of the free trial account. You get data integration, you get data administrator, monitor, and operational insights. So first thing what we need to do is we need to click on the administrator service. And once you have the administrator service, you need to go to runtime environments. So once you log on to the administrator service, you get a prompt. I mean, you get a detailed information about the organization and the ID. This is called org ID, and this is the organization name. And this is started. The free trial account is started today, and it would be valid for 30 days. So it would be valid for 30 days. And you can also configure your default email notifications here. Okay. So any questions from anyone so far on this?
No,
It's
Shiva, we
pretty
are good.
straightforward. Yeah. And you need to go to runtime environments. The next step is you need to go to runtime environments and you need to click on download secure agent. So the moment you click on download secure agent, it is going to uh, give you the install token and also the platform that you want to choose. You can choose either Windows 64 or Linux 64. So for now, we are working on Windows on the training environment. So copy the install token and launch your Notepad++. If you don't have it, please install it and just copy it and put it somewhere. Copy the token and you can click on download. And this is going to download your Windows Secure Agent where you need to configure this. So before you configure this Windows Secure Agent, what you need to do is you need to create a directory for the Windows Secure Agent. So what I've done is I have a Secure Agent directory that is created, which is my local Secure Agent. I created a folder called local Secure Agent in my D drive. I'm not doing the installation in my C drive. I want to keep it separate. So I'm doing it in my D drive. So I created a folder called local secure agent in my D drive. So once the installation is completed, you can launch it and make sure all of you have administrative privileges on your laptop when you install the software. Make sure you have the administrative privileges on your laptop when you install it. So this will be completed in a moment. And the one that you see here is called Informatica Cloud Hosted Agent, which is a default Informatica hosted agent because we don't run jobs on Informatica Cloud hosted agent. We only run jobs on our local secure agent because we need to connect to our source systems from our flat files or our databases or Salesforce. So we only do our development through a local secure agent. So we have downloaded the secure agent and we are configuring and we are installing it right now. Like we would go through the wizard and we will provide the path where you're supposed to install it. So you go to the directory and it would redirect you to the downloads directory and just right click on it and click on run as administrator. Click on run as administrator and then you need to click on yes. And this is going to launch this wizard where it would ask you, where would you like to install the secure agent? So I'm not going to install it in program files. I don't recommend installing it in program files, which is a C drive, a default location. What I would do is I would create a separate directory called local secure agent, and I copy the path. I provide this path here, which is my D drive. I created a folder called local secure agent. And remember, everyone, please do not have any spaces between local secure agent. It should be one word, local secure agent. Click on next, click on install. And this is going to install my latest version of my Informatica Cloud Secure Agent, which is a local agent on my machine, on my laptop. And this is going to take care of everything, which will install the Java runtime environment. And you would, yeah, this is completed now. And you would see that you get entire folders here, which are, slash apps. You get multiple folders, which I'll discuss in a moment. And once it is done, you would get a prompt to register yourself to the cloud that you configured as a free trial, right? So you need to have you need to register yourself for this org. This org is called Visual. It is called organization, which is nothing but a domain. So it is having an ID where we are supposed to register this ID, right? Register this service with the account that we created. So we get a prompt. If you don't get a prompt, you get a prompt to provide your username and your password. Sorry, and your token. If you don't get it, what you need to do? You need to go to command prompt, run as administrator, and you go to the D drive, and go to the path where you have your local secure agent slash apps, and there is a folder called just do a dir. You see a folder called agent core. So you need to go to agent core, and in the agent core directory you would see these files, which are the batch files. So the first thing what we do is we verify if the services are registered or not. So how do you verify it? There is a command called console agent manager.bat, and if you just click on enter, this is going to give you the list of commands that you can run to see the status of the secure agent, if it is configured or not. So how do I know it if it is configured or not? I have to just take the same command again and just type get status. S is capital in get status. Click on enter. And this is giving me it is not configured. So I need to configure this. So how do I configure this? Again, I do a dir console agent manager.patch, and I need to do a command called configure token, and my username. I already copied my username here, which is, what is my username? This is my username. Okay, IICS Visual is my username. This is my username, and I need to copy the token that I already kept separately, right? So I just have to copy the token and just click on enter. Once you provide this configure token with your username and the token, you get a prompt saying your login with token succeeded. Okay, login with token and login succeeded. Now we can check the status again. So this is going to deploy the services on your machine. So we can go to the administrator page, go to runtime environments again, and just refresh or reload your page. and you would see that my PC name, my laptop name would be my secure agent name, also the secure agent group. That would come up, and it would come up with the services up and running in few minutes. In few minutes, I would see the services would be up and running. Okay, you notice this, right? So you can even rename the secure agent group, because you don't want a random name, right? So you can rename the secure agent group. So just click on rename secure agent group, and you can put your secure agent group as local secure agent group. Click on OK. And similarly, you can rename your secure agent name itself as your local secure agent. Okay, this is done to ensure you have the correct name when you're doing your, when you start working on your development, right? You just keep local secure agent so that you recognize, okay, I have to configure things in my local secure agent. So just click on, just rename it to local secure agent. You get a prompt, local secure agent saved successfully. Any questions from anyone on this so far? If I just click on the details, you would see that all the services are starting up. And if you want to know why it is taking time to start up, because it is going to download the packages. If I go to the apps agent core, you would see that there is a file called agentcore.log. Okay, so if you just click on, just open this, you would see that this is downloading, it is deploying, and it is actually downloading the services. I mean, it is downloading the required packages for me to run the jobs in my data integration service. So the status would be running, changed to running and deploying. You see that deploying 2, running 3, stop 0. You can even verify the status again from your command prompt. Like if you just give a command called console agent manager .bat get status, you get a prompt. Okay, so deploying 2, running 3, right? You get all this information, and if you want to refresh your status, click on refresh status, and this is going to actually give you the entire, the audit log is going to give you the entire information about what is actually happening. It would open the tunnels for listeners, it would open the ports and make sure the services are in running state. Okay, so you go to details again. If you want to refresh status, click on refresh status, and after a couple of minutes, or it would take some more time, and you get a status change to up and running. So we have to make sure all the services are up and running, and then we can start our development. Is that clear to everyone? How to install a secure agent, how to configure? Any questions?
No, Shiva.
Okay. So you guys can do it parallelly. You guys can do it parallelly so that, if you have any issues, probably I can just help you out on ensuring, the services are up and running, because we plan the day today to help you with the installation and configuration, and also navigate through different services in IICS. So for today, we will cover these topics about how do we navigate to different services, and you would also understand when you install the services, right? So you get, it would take, eventually it would come up, probably in like 5 or 10 minutes max, 10 to 15 minutes it may take, and you would see all the services would be up and running. Okay, and you also have to make sure these values, when you see when the services are up and running, right? So you just have to go to services.msc, and Go to your Informatica Cloud Informatica Cloud Services. Go to Informatica Cloud Secure Agent and right click on it. Go to Properties, go to Recovery, and you can change this computer's response if the service fails to restart the service. For example, if something goes wrong, if your service is down or if your laptop is shut down, right? And you bring up, like you start up your laptop. You select this option, you just have to make sure upon subsequent failures, restart the service, second failure, restart, first failure, restart. Just click on apply and okay. Just keep the settings done for one time. That's it. Because this is important for you to understand, the services have to be running all the times, up and running. The services have to be running all the time. You just can't shut down the services, because without the services being up and running, you can't work on anything actually. So the computer, your laptop should be always up and running, and your services would be up and running. Just in case if your laptop is shut down, you need to check the services are running, and then you can move on to your development. So anyone would like to give a try now and share the screen so that I can help you out how to configure this? Anyone would like to share the screen?
Hi, Rohit here. I
Yeah,
had a
Rohit.
question regarding agent setup. So
Mm-hmm.
once we have set up the agent in a system and another user wants to uh, do the same IICS access in the same system. So is it
Mm-hmm.
possible, and is the secure agent tied to the user who is creating it? So if somebody else wants to log in and run their different projects, so will there how this works?
Yeah, secure agent is a one-time setup that is done by your administrator. In your organization, your administrator does a one-time setup of the secure agent, and it doesn't depend on the user login. The user login is based on the URL. So, for example, I did my setup, and you want to access this URL. So, what you what you're supposed to do is, like as administrator, I can provide you. I can go to users and I can give you access, right? So I can go to users here in my administrator service, and I can just give a name, your first name, last name, your mail ID, and everything, and I just create your account, and you get a link to activate, and I would assign a group and role to you. The moment I assign a group and role to you, you can access the same URL with secure agent up and running. Because it is nothing to do with your environment configuration. Environment configuration is done only once. Okay, for example, I give your name as your Rohit, and your last name, let's say, just put something like okay, I think your last name is M. Okay, and job title is developer, and phone number, some random phone number, email, let's say, you just provide your email, you get a mail actually, and you get a username as, let's say, dev underscore Rohit. This is your username, and I provide you some access, like designer, or a data integration task executor, and I click on save. The, the moment I provide all these values, I click on save, a mail will be triggered to you, and you need to activate your account, and you can access same URL elsewhere on your laptop, as long as the secure agent is running on my machine, up and running. That's absolutely fine. You don't have to worry about it. You just have to access this URL anywhere. You can access it. Like, that is how a multi-tenant repositories would work.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
you
got my
understood this?
answer. Yeah, I
Got your answer?
understood this. Thank you.
Okay. The secure agent, what it needs is the secure agent would need the administrative privilege on your laptop for the person who is installing it. I'm an administrator or I'm an architect. I'm taking care of the installations configurations. So I need to have the privileges. It is not needed for everyone else to uh, to install secure agent. They just need access to the URL. That's it. Okay. So if you can provide your mail ID, you get a mail actually. So you want to provide your mail ID?
Rohit,
Mm-hmm.
ROHIT,
Okay.
MR,
MR.
MR dot
Okay.
CKM
.ckm.
@gmail.com.
Okay. So I'm giving you some, I just gave you some roles here with the data integration task executor, designer, monitor, operator, which we will discuss about the roles at a later point of time. So for now, you'll be getting a mail actually, to activate your account. So you can check it. You get a mail to activate your account, and you can directly access this URL with usw5.tm-us informaticacloud.com, right? So anyone would like to try the installation right now, or we are good to move on? Okay, now all the services are up and running, and you want to just refresh your browser. The moment you reload your browser, right? And this is not required every time, but just to make sure you reload or refresh your browser so that you would see the updated services. If in case you want to just double check, you know the services are up and running, go to your runtime environments, and you would see that this prompt should be there, like up and running with the enabled services, common integration components, data integration server, mass ingestion, OA data collector. So this is running on my host, which is my laptop name, the platform, Windows platform, and the version. So for every release of Informatica Cloud, there is a version that's tied up. And for this is an self-upgrading agent by Informatica. What do you mean by self-upgrading is this agent would have continuous upgrades for every they have bug fixes, or they have upgrades, or they have a major upgrade coming up. So they do it. They ensure all the functionalities are being added from the power center. And to proceed further, I'll just click on this down arrow. I get these services. I can toggle around. This is called toggle switch, where I can toggle to a data integration service. I just click on data integration, open a new tab. So I can just open this in a new tab. It will open up here. If I want to open my monitor, click on open a new tab. It gets opened in new tab here. So I get 3 services. I can have multiple tabs like this. Okay, for example, I want to have a duplicate tab of administrator service. I just right click on this, click on duplicate. You get a duplicate tab, right? I mean, this is it's all like on the browser, on the UI. So all of you understood this? And
Now, Shiva, one quick question. So
yeah.
when I install the service agent, I'm seeing two more services like application integration and console.
Mhm.
Oh,
So
what
you
are
might have
those?
downloaded a different version of cloud.
Um,
Application integration console is a different version. So what did I ask you to do is, when you just go to the Google, right? You get Informatica Cloud Data Integration Free Trial. You might have taken that choose
okay,
your free cloud platform trial, and you might have chosen a different version, but that is a different way to do it.
okay, got it. Okay,
Even
thank
that, what I would recommend is, because if you are a beginner, or say if you are coming from a power center background, right? Like I don't know how many of you are from power center background here, but again, I'm just giving you just comparing with the Power Center background. We have two components here, application integration and data integration. But to start with, we are going with a free 30-day trial of cloud data integration, because we would focus on data integration initially, and at a later point of time, once our training is done for the data integration, we'll move on to the cloud application integration, which we would download a different account. I mean, we'll have a different account for that. The secure agent will be again downloaded, but we can provide the same path. We'll work on it separately. Okay. I don't want to mix it up both, so I did not download that version because it would have both. I downloaded only the cloud data integration. So you need to click on the first link, which says very clearly about cloud data integration, free 30-day trial. Okay.
Got it. Thanks,
Makes
Shiva.
sense? Yeah. Okay. And always,
Shiva, Rohit here.
yeah. Tell me.
Uh, I had something questions on the basic level. So when we
Mhm.
talk about cloud, so there are like multiple different clouds, right? So Azure is a cloud, Google Cloud, AWS, and parallelly we have Informatica Cloud. So can you give us a relation between what those clouds are and what this Informatica Cloud actually is? How is it different? And if I'm working on a Power Center project and my organization is currently having a goal to move towards all a cloud. So my org is currently looking for Azure as a cloud service, and with Informatica Power Center developer or a application developer, how can I relate to Azure and how can I relate to Informatica Cloud and how are they different?
Okay. Uh, I mean, to be, I mean, frankly speaking, there isn't an actual comparison between Azure or or any other cloud component and Informatica, because Informatica is a leading data integration ETL tool, right? And when we speak about comparison, right, Azure and or even like AWS has their own functionalities, but Azure is more about, I think, it's all a Microsoft product, right? Uh, it's a thing that is more coming up with an inbuilt product of Microsoft, something like .NET or something, related. But data integration as a Power Center, coming from a functionality from a Power Center background, it talks more about, you know, uh, data. Like, when you connect to different source systems, it's about loading your data, like, performing incremental load or, one-time load or full load. So we speak about different features, like, where it's all about data integration, and it's not a apple to apple comparison, right? So it can't be a direct comparison between Informatica Cloud or Azure or AWS. It can't be compared that way. So when I say cloud for Informatica, this is a component where the data is stored in the Informatica Cloud repository, and you don't have to launch your client services. I mean, your client, it's not a software that is installed, it's not a binary that you have to install on your laptop or, start an application. This is all browser based. It's all API driven. It's about API management. And API is application programming interface, where, you connect to a network, right? To give you a simple example, like how does that work is, for example, let me just bring up Paint. I'll just give you some random example about it. For example, like, when you, as a user, right, you log in, you know you just provide your login credentials. You provide your credentials and you log into, uh, let's say, you just log into a net banking website. This is your, let's say, this is your HDFC Bank net banking website, right? So what do? You provide your credentials, you provide your username and your password. So the data gets exchanged. I mean, the data gets exchanged, or the data gets into the HDFC Bank servers, and they authenticate you. They allow you to log in using those credentials, right? Whatever credentials that you provide, and you can do your transactions, and you can do multiple things when you log on to the net banking website. So it's all like API driven, right? Similarly, in Informatica Cloud, right? Whatever we do, it's all like, there is a base URL, there is a cloud URL here, and we get multiple products, which are functionality is derived from Power Center. So Azure or AWS has a different meaning, or different functionality, but this is more about data, like data integration, which would talk about on-premises and also cloud applications integration. It's a more about orchestration of the services between your on-premise and cloud, like Salesforce, or when we talk about a Marketo or different connectors. I think I've told you about the architecture. I'm not sure if you were there on the call, but again, you know, when I have presented my demo, when I gave my demo, I've explained about the architecture. So this architecture diagram talks about, a user logs in through a web client and performs a design and administration, and the metadata gets exchanged to the multi-tenant repository. The metadata, it's not the actual data. It's all about metadata. And this is a customer managed secure agent. We installed a secure agent. This is our customer managed secure agent, which is sitting behind a firewall. So we are actually controlling our own data. Okay. So the on-premise data or the applications, and it also connects through through different external applications like Salesforce or Workday or NetSuite or any other LinkedIn through HTTPS through HTTPS, and this information gets stored in Informatica Cloud repository. But whereas in Power Center, you have a native database, where you store your metadata. You can retrieve the information on what metadata you have stored, what type of data you have stored, and your jobs and all. But in Informatica Cloud, we don't manage that metadata. It is all managed by Informatica vendor. They store the metadata. You understood?
Yeah, I got that. And now, when you're mentioning that we have to set up the secure agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, right now we are using a laptop. When it comes to organization level installation, and
Mm-hmm.
usually they would have a Unix server at their end, right?
Correct.
And
Yeah, that's
they
correct. Yeah.
does the setup at a Unix server. Now
Yeah.
that an organization wants to move away with their own Unix servers, and they are
Mm-hmm.
looking at Azure or AWS as a cloud infrastructure as a services. So
Mm-hmm.
can I say that now my org has Azure S3, so
Mm-hmm.
I can do the IICS setup in Azure Unix server, and
Mm-hmm.
everything else will work through web login. Can this setup be done?
Yeah, yeah. See, when you spin up a EC2 instance on AWS, for example, your organization uses AWS, and when you spin up a EC2 instance on AWS, you can still have the Informatica Cloud Secure Agent installed on the Linux server. It can be a Linux server or Windows server. Only two things. Okay, it can be any server, and depends on the infrastructure the organization has planned, right? They would like to go for AWS. They can still do it. There are ways to. All you need is you need to have services up and running, so that you manage your data. You manage your, for example, I installed my Informatica Cloud Secure Agent on my Linux machine, which is again, it can be an EC2 instance running on my AWS. Okay, so I can install it there. But the only thing is, for a Windows machine, right, you can have only one instance up and running on your Windows machine, because that's a service that is configured, and you can only have one service. But whereas in Linux, you can have multiple secure agents running on a Linux server. You can have multiple servers. So that is possible.
Okay. And
Okay.
in one of the slides, I saw Salesforce and Oracle, and whereas are different sources, right? So
Yeah.
I did not see Azure or Google Cloud. So is this integration available with Azure and Google Cloud?
Yeah. See, when we go to the connections, right? In the connections, when you have your secure agent up and running, you can click on the new connections. And for example, I want to create a new connection for Azure or Google Cloud. All you need is for example, you just need to provide your values accordingly. Like for example, I want to do a Azure connection underscore Azure. And for example, I want to select, the type that I want to select. I just have to provide the details. For example, let me talk about uh, SQL Server. To just example like SQL Server, what I need to do is I need to provide the SQL Server version here. I need to provide the authentication mode, the username, password, host, and I just have to click on test connection. And just in case in your free trial version, if it doesn't support Azure, what you can do is you can go to add-on connectors. If you have an Azure account, you can go to add-on connectors and search for Azure. For example, you want to connect to Microsoft Azure SQL data warehouse, right? Just click on start free trial. You can have this connector configured in your connections the moment you click on start free trial. Yeah, but Rohit, just to be sure about, this training covers flat files, Oracle, and Salesforce. We don't cover Azure, but I'm just giving you how to configure a connector. If you have a account with Azure, you want to try it out with Azure, you can do it this way. Okay. For example,
Yeah.
if I go to my connections, I want to create my flat file connection. Let's say I just click on new connection. Uh, so I just provide my connection name as connection underscore flat files, and just a description as this is a flat file connection, and type is flat file. This is coming, the default types are coming here, and my local secure agent group, and I'm not supposed to browse it. So what I can do is I can directly create a folder in my installation directory, which is my D drive local secure agent group, apps, data integration server, data. I created a folder called training, and in my folder I have multiple files. So I just copy this path and I just provide a path here. Select my UTF-8 as code page, click on test connection. So this is actually talking to my local directory and ensuring the connection is passed. My secure agent is talking to my local path, and see, you get a prompt here loading, right? After a couple of seconds, you get this connection is successful, and you just have to save it. Similarly, for your you got a prompt here. The test for this connection was successful. Just click on save. The connection gets saved. Similarly, if you want to create an Oracle connection, go to connections again. You want to create an Oracle connection, click on connection. And I just have to make sure my Oracle is up and running. I have 19C version running on my laptop. So I just have to configure my connection underscore. Let's say I want to take Scott. So this is a Scott Oracle connection, and select your type as your Oracle, and select your local security group. Do not select Informatica Cloud security. Select only local security group and your username and password. This is my local host. And I just have to provide my service name here, my service name, which is InfraORCL. and code page. Select something, click on test connection. So this is communicating to my database and establishing the connection. This is actually talking to my database, and it will ensure the connection is done. Once your connection is done, right, you can start working on it. You get a prompt, this connection is successful. Now you just have to save this. Click on save, right? So you got two
Hi
connections
Shiva, I have
created
a
now.
quick
So I
question
just
here.
explained you how to create. Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt you. So
go
I
on.
have a
Yeah.
quick question. So while creating the connection, so in the type drop down, all the databases are not listed down. So if we want to connect to any database which is not listed, like DB2, Postgres, something like that, so how do we do that?
Yeah, I think I just explained that, for example, you want to select connect to DB2. You don't see that all this types are listed here, right?
Yeah,
So the
yeah,
free trial account, it's all tied up with the license in real time, right?
okay,
Your organization buys a license and they have the license accordingly as per their requirement. You go to add-on connectors. For example, you want to search for DB2. Just search for DB2. You see that, there is a DB2 for ICDC connector. You want to click on start free trial. Click on start free trial. The moment you click on start free trial, you get a DB2 type there. For example, I just
okay,
click on DB2 for ICDC connector. Just click on OK, and you get a prompt. Okay, this is good to start. You should be able to run the task using connected less than 30 minutes. So go to connections again.
okay,
Go to new connection. And let's say you want to create a DB2 connection. I don't have anything for DB2, but I'm just showing you how does it work. See, DB2, you got it here. You understand?
okay.
You
Yeah,
got the type here.
got it. Yeah,
And you need to provide the
and one more.
appropriate values. Yeah.
Yeah. And one more thing is regarding CDC, are you going to cover the real-time data streaming as well? And the change data capture as part of this training?
No, actually, we don't work on huge amount of data because, what I would do is we'll be working on Oracle databases and, flat files and Salesforce, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
what I
yeah.
would,
That's
as
fine.
part of CDC, what I would explain you is like, how do you perform incremental loading, using some variables that will be covered in the training. But, not a
Okay.
huge amount of data. I mean,
Uh,
we are all working on a training environment. This is a training environment, and we have less amount of data and table structures and everything. What are the sample tables I have? Maybe having around max up to 100 rows. Okay, so it's all about less amount of data what we'll be doing, and I'll be covering that CDC part
okay.
with the
So
customer.
data volume is not a problem. Data volume is not a
Mm,
problem. If you
mm.
are going to cover the change data capture uh, for the real-time data streaming, then that would be
Real-time
fine.
data streaming. I mean, yeah, are you talking about the application integration or talking about data integration? Like,
Both
I
both
mean,
actually. So
both. Yeah,
so
but again,
real-time data streaming is different and
real-time means
CDC
like
is different.
we don't have correct. I mean, we don't get a scenario because we mock the data, right? We just mock the data to perform a CDC mapping. I just mock the data and I do how to capture the data, using some variables. That is how I'll show,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I'll just explain you about that way, but not.
Sure.
I mean,
Sure.
we won't be
Okay.
having any files, live files or anything like that, right? Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So, anyone has tried installing the secure agent? Like, anyone needs any help on this? And let me explain you about this data integration. We also have monitor here. Monitor is a service where you would see the jobs running. Okay, this is the service that would show you the list of running jobs, list of all jobs that you have run. This is similar to your workflow monitor, but the only thing is, I mean, like you see it everything in the browser. If you have something running, you get running jobs, all jobs. Data integration is where you do your design work, mappings, everything, like map rates, tasks, task flows, components. So this is important for us to begin with. You need to sign up to a free trial account. Once you sign up to a free trial account, you get a login here. Go to administrator service, go to runtime environments, and click on download secure agent. Copy the install token, put it somewhere, right? And uh, once you download, you may get a prompt to register your org. So if you register your org, what you have to do, you need to provide your username and the token that you copied. If you don't get a prompt, you have to do it in the command prompt. Launch your command prompt using run as administrator. Go to agent core directory and just check this status, console agent manager.bat, get status, and you'll see services would be up and running. Once everything is up and running, you get a prompt saying ready, which means that all the services are deployed and all the services are running. Okay, see, we got ready. Ready means all the services have been deployed, all the services are running. All of you understood this? Anyone has
Yeah.
tried downloading secure agent?
Yes, sir.
Anyone has gone to a free trial?
Yeah, I have downloaded it.
Who is this?
Karunakar.
Okay, Karna. Okay, you're able to see this these values, like I mean these things, like services are up and running here.
Yeah.
No.
I'm able to
Okay,
see the secure agent
you're able to
running.
see it. Okay, good, fine. So that is that's all about the start for the day today. And please let me know if you have any questions. I can just explain it to you one more time. You can download the secure agent here, and you just have to configure your services. And remember, like you need to have administrative privileges on your laptop that you download the service, and you can also create the connections. So we just covered how to create a connection for a Scott connection in flat file. And similarly, we can also create a flat Salesforce connection. For that, what you need to do is you need to sign up a free account from Salesforce. So just go to Dev Salesforce, Dev Salesforce, and sign up. Just sign up for Dev Salesforce. Go to this page and sign up here. And if you have an account, you already have an account, just click on login, and you just provide your credentials here, and you should be able to log in. And you need to provide the token. I just give you an example here. For example, I have a Salesforce account. Just give me 1 minute. I'll just show you that. So yeah, Salesforce connection. I have an account, what I configured, and I have a security token. Okay, I have a security token. I just have to get this security token from the moment I log in. If you click on your profile, you get an option called reset my security token. If you click on reset my security token, you get a token. You just have to copy the token, put it in a notepad, and just save your credentials, and you can create a Salesforce account. Same thing what we did, just click on new connection and select your Salesforce. Okay, again, for Salesforce, what you need, it may not be in the type, right? So again, you may have to go to your add-on connectors, search for Salesforce. Okay, Salesforce connector, you see there is something called Salesforce connector. Click on start free trial, click on OK. And this connection type will be enabled the moment you click on start your free trial. Click on new connection, and just provide the values as connection underscore Salesforce connection. Type is Salesforce. Select your local secure agent group. Type is standard type. Username. Username and password. And the security token that you already have. Click on test connection. And sometimes your connection may fail because of the version that is supported for this free trial account. You get a service URL called https login.salesforce.com. So this connection is failed because just it verifies. So what you need to do is you have to change this from 55.0 to 31.0. Click on test connection. Okay, probably my just let me check. Okay, so I've taken wrong security token, so I copied the right one. Now my connection is successful. I changed my version to 31.0 in the last. The URL I removed 55.0 and I have put 31.0. Click on test connection. The connection is successful. Click on save. So this is all needed, to get started. You need to create your connections. Sorry, first thing is you need to download the secure agent. Ensure the services are up and running. It will take some time, but make sure the services are up and running. Then you create your connections and you're good to start. Okay. Any questions from anyone? Any questions from anyone?
Hi, Shiva. I think I
Yeah.
joined a little late. I had a quick question. Like, you do cover both, right? API and the data integration, right?
Yeah, I cover both. In fact,
Okay.
I think I discussed. I'm not sure if you were a part of the demo session, but again, these are the topics that I would cover, which are cloud data integration and cloud application integration. But this is more. The cloud data integration is more about 70 to 80%. 20% I would cover this cloud application
This
integration.
is called like API, right? This is the one.
Yeah. API also will discuss. Correct.
So for the API, we don't need to get another, secure agent, right? Under that one secure agent, we can have both, right? One
Yeah,
data
we can have both. Correct. Yeah. See, everything is connected to a connector. Actually, everything is through a connector.
Yeah.
You need to have a right connector to connect to the right sources or external services. All you need is a connector. So we'll discuss about that when we discuss about REST API.
Okay. And how much you cover for the API?
API will be part
I
of
can see a
this.
lot of requirement or API they wanna API
Yeah. So
Cloud
what
API.
I'm going to discuss about REST API is, REST API will discuss about login activity. How do you log in from Postman? How do you retrieve the activity logs? How do you invoke a mapping task through Postman? How do you invoke a task flow through Postman? So these things are covered, for the API, REST API.
Okay, like that's it. And what is the bottom one? I guess is CAI or application.
Yeah, for CI, what I would cover is I'll discuss about the basic process designer and working with assets, creating process objects, creating an app connection, service connectors, JDBC connections, and working on web services, calling a synchronous call, web service call, and asynchronous web service call, fault handling, and we'll also discuss about CA and the CDI data integration. How to invoke a mapping task from cloud application integration.
So,
So it's
like this CAI is also like is all about like connecting. I mean, retrieve the data from the URL stuff, right?
yeah. I mean, CI or CDIs, everything is you access through URL. It's like it's a cloud URL, right? Everything is, you have a base URL called dm-us informaticacloud.com, and depending on the pod, depending on the region that you signed up, you get to change. I mean, you get to see this is changed. For example, if you sign up to Asia Pacific, you get something like APSC, which stands for Asia Pacific Southeast. APSC dot dm-ap.informaticacloud.com. So this URL gets changed depending on the region that you sign up, and the URL is going to be common, right? The URL is going to be common. The base URL is going to be common for both data integration and application integration. But again, depending on different services, these things would change. Okay. For example, I'll just for the benefit, I'll show you. I also have a application integration account. I'll just show you how does it work. Okay, so for example, I log into this URL, which is my base URL again, dm-us. Now this got redirected to use6.dm-us informaticacloud.com. So this is my cloud application integration free trial account. Okay, this is my cloud application integration free trial account. So where I can launch my application integration along with my data integration. I can see there are multiple services which are tied up here along with my data integration. So this is having a different URL, and you get a different design window like this.
So I mean, my point is like whatever you cover for the API, so that is good enough for the most of the requirement.
Yeah, it is good to start with Informatica Cloud. Say there are a lot of advanced topics which cannot be covered. We are in a training environment, right? So there is,
Yeah, but
it's all driven in a license. Informatica Cloud license is it's a very costly license. Which cannot be acquired on a training environment. We do it only on a free trial. This is a free trial account, right? So whatever is required for you to be successful, to start to get started with cloud data integration and application integration, I'll cover that. Whatever it makes you to understand the basic stuff. I'm not going to discuss about any complex things here, complex logic and all that. That is not possible in a training environment. We only cover the basics. And
like in general, how we connect to the API and some how do they retrieve the data sometimes.
Yeah, correct. For example, this is my process. It's a simple process. What I'm invoking this process. What does it do is, this is actually calling a process where it is invoking my job with a input output parameter. So in my start step, this is called start step and end step. I have an assignment step here. In my start step, I have a process one here. This is all binding done by REST SOAP binding. And I also had an input field, which is my input, and also my output field, which is output. So it's a simple input field and output field what I created for this process. And when I click on this publish, what does it do is it is actually publishing so that I can invoke it outside. For example, I want to I want to invoke something, with my input command. For example, I copy this. Just click on copy and open a browser. And I just paste this browser here. And I just put a question mark with input is equal to hello team. Okay, so I get an output here as output is hello team. So what it has done is it is invoked the process with the input parameter, and it called an output called hello team. So these are some simple things which I'll be able to cover in my cloud application integration. You understand?
Okay. I don't have much idea about the REST API, and also you want to also explain a little bit about that also, right?
Okay.
API.
Yeah. See, even like when I started, it's all new to me, but eventually, you get to learn more when you work on real time, right? When you work on real time, when you get to access multiple systems, multiple sources, and you get an opportunity to work on, given an opportunity with a license, you can definitely work on multiple things. Fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so that concludes our session for today. Thank you all for joining the session today, and yeah, we'll continue with our sessions. Today is day 1, and tomorrow is our day 2, and we'll continue with our planned activities for tomorrow. Please
Sorry,
join at
one
7
more
a.m.
question. Eva, I think I missed, like, it's going to be like how many days? The class 3 days or 2 days a week?
Yeah, this is going to be a 30-hour session, 30-hour session, which I'll be completing the entire training for both CDI and CAI, both the modules.
I mean, is it like again is it a 3 days a week or 2 days a week class?
No, it's going to be 5 days or 6 days a week. I would say 6 days, so that we complete it faster. 1 hour a day.
1 hour a day.
7 a.m. to 8 a.m. IST.
So you're gonna cover it like within a month, like that.
Yeah, that's correct. 1 month.
And we will get the recording, right?
Yeah, you get the recordings from the organizers.